Hello there folks, and today we've got a 1 versus 1 for you. And I haven't really been doing too much PA casting recently, but I've been very much bogged down with work, and the Worms uploads have been as a result of just wanting to do something slightly different now. The other thing before we start, while the players just do their sort of opening build orders, dislikes. Please give me feedback if you drop a dislike. Dropping me a dislike doesn't help me, and it doesn't really help you. If you're here to see good content that you like, then providing a dislike just tells me you don't like it. It doesn't tell me how to improve on it. Anyway, ranting aside, let's go and have a look here. We've got CptConundrum on the Equator spawn in purple there, going for a dual bot spawn, following it up with vehicles, lots of P-gens as well. No mechs, only just coming out with the fabricators to do the mechs, but the commander obviously going for a more vehicle-heavy build and probably some early docks raiding, given the transition to vehicles and air later on. And on the South Pole, we have Battlebear from Promethean Clan, doing a sort of similar build there, but going a little bit more in terms of vehicles and bot balance as well. Again, using fabricators to go for the mechs. And the docks are going to go out and raid as well. Doing a good use of claiming metal fields here with turrets here and there, and the expansions, just to make sure that he has got those claimed. And we're going to see a little bit of an engagement here. How are we going to have some micromanagement, which is going to help keep them alive? CptConundrum surviving that one. He's obviously got the superior micro skills required. Battlebear now going to be feeling the pressure just a little bit, as he does realise that's exactly where CptConundrum is coming from. He's going to move some docks out to try and deal with this in his own time, which is good as well. And couple of tanks in the mix there as well, with the good old ants. I'm going to call them the ants, even though they're called bolos. So if you ever hear me refer to anything as ant, it does mean the vehicle, as I call those the ant, not the bolo. Anyway, I digress once again. Another confrontation here. CptConundrum, unfortunately, has got the inferior unit numbers and is going to come off a little bit worse in that engagement. However, he is doing a little bit more micro on the other side of that mountain range there. Does manage to take down a tank, but not much else. Again, more docks engagements in the middle there. It's pretty much to be expected in the current meta of the game. It's just pump out docks and engage with docks. However, the transition to vehicles early on is going to make things slightly more interesting, and the bumblebees as well. However, Battlebear's still not got round to his air factory yet. I feel that's probably next up in the queue somewhere along the lines after getting those few P-gens. But the radar there is going to help him out a little bit more. If we go to his vision range there, we can see the radar blip, so he knows exactly where CptConundrum is. He knows about these flanking forces over here, and he's actually going to pull his units back to deal with those. And only the docks are going to get there quick enough, so the ants may as well just stick around the other side of the mountain range there. But the bumblebee comes in, is going to do a fair bit of damage. Does get shot down, however, by the commander. Gets a little bit too close. Bumblebees like that would be really well suited to taking down the radar there. But the window is fast closing as Battlebear puts up his own air factory there, which is going to give him the interceptors he needs to go and take down that. However, CptConundrum perhaps seeing that. Let's see, did he see the air factory going up? No, he did not. But going for the interceptors is always wise, because it does mean that you will gain a little bit more in terms of the air superiority. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Battlebear expansions there, putting up the turrets as required, which is a really interesting tactic, actually, locking down all those mechs points from early raiding, which is really useful. And down here as well, good old turret. However, the mechs will go down, I suspect. This one certainly over here as to those docks, and an engagement in the middle again as well. I'm going to close up a few of these menus, because they're a little bit intrusive, especially that one in the top right, and I doubt we will see play to the Highlander moon there, as it's got no metal on it, and there's really no reason to go orbital in a 1v1 like this. On such a small planet, it would be to your detriment, really, to go orbital, unless you'd really locked everything down. But if you had locked everything down, then you may as well just go in for the kill. Battlebear, however, struggling a little bit with the eco, probably producing a little bit too much. That's probably because he was using his commander a bit more there than anything else. And running a little bit out of metal, probably because of all the point defense he's putting up. CptConundrum on a little bit of the defensive here as Battlebear gets in a little bit closer. He does have spinners in that group though, so any bumblebees that do try and assist will get shot down, and that should be the target for the ground forces before the bumblebees can come in. But there are interceptors around the place, so they will want to watch out in that regard as well. CptConundrum now giving chase a little bit, trying to lock down these early mechs here as well and take out the majority of Battlebear's forces. CptConundrum has got a few more factories though. If we go to the army tab, 8 to 6, not too bad there, and he also has a lot more mobile units, so he can really make a bit of a dent here, take out a little bit of the production, perhaps even skirt around in between these two mountains again and take out the radar there. Air superiority though coming in on the favour of Battlebear this time round. But CptConundrum really doesn't need to move in at this point because he's got plenty of tanks there, and he really doesn't need to go in too far, and they're going to be able to take down that mechs really easily. Once they see the point defense, they're probably just going to rush it down and try and destroy it, or they're going to lose all their unit numbers to that single well, double laser turret, single double laser turret, there we are, if you get my English there. But again, another platoon finding themselves a little bit caught out there by that turret. Really well placed there actually. It not only locks down those mechs, but it also locks down that approach. Though of course on 360 degrees you can go around the outside. Another vehicle factory going up from Battlebear. He knows he has to transition more into to vehicles now, as docks are being somewhat downplayed in the in this game. And I like the way as well that Battlebear is expanding towards CptConundrum with the vehicles. The distance between these two bases now is minuscule. Bumblebee's coming in from Battlebear as well, gonna do really good support there, and the Bumblebee from CptConundrum really doesn't want to go over the commander. Unfortunately it did. It would be much better now to go around the rest of the base there and take out the radar. That would be quite useful actually. That's in fact it looks like there might be a few docks doing that, but the laser point there is still surviving, and those docks could really do a bit of damage there. Looks as though Battlebear might have seen this though. If we go to his point of view, he does still have the energy to run the radar, and he does see those blips there, so he's just putting up a little bit of a defensive force here, which is something of a greeting party. Fortunately the docks potentially, well, they do all get bombed down, but I was going to say potentially going around for a bit more mechs raiding, except Battlebear has locked down these pretty well. In addition, looks like the Fabricator was probably killed in that instance there. CptConundrum finally beginning to expand as well, though he still has the advantage in terms of the metal. If we look around CptConundrum, he's expanded a lot more, though he doesn't have the ground defense at his expansions, only the AA there. If we zoom out again, having a look around, we have a radar and a single point laser turret, but that's not really going to be very good against bombers and or tanks. Another Bumblebee coming down, only taking out a couple of units there and getting shot down itself, but Battlebear now on the offensive with the superior unit numbers in this engagement. The rest of CptConundrum's forces are sort of here, there and everywhere, and not in a big blob where they need to be, though the commander is right there, so we can turn around and say, hey, eat an Uber cannon. At which point Battlebear's tanks, if the Uber cannon is well placed, will just sort of disintegrate in a massive blue puff of smoke. But they are doing a little bit of damage, and if that vehicle factory goes down, if we look back in the army tab there, it'll tip the scales in Battlebear's favour just a little bit. As, it's interesting that Captain's putting up a third air factory there, and he's running himself into the ground there a little bit with the energy, so his Uber cannon isn't going to recharge as fast as perhaps he'd like. Moving out there with the armorless commander, taking a good pot shot, perhaps, although it seems as though he's decided not to bother. He's confident in his defensive abilities, though he will need to use the Uber cannon on this lot, I suspect. But, again, Doc's desperately trying to go around the back and really not doing a great job of it. Looks like that was just cancelled more than anything else. But a really big push here, going to take down a couple of P-gens and possibly even that vehicle factory, which would be a really good kill there for these vehicles coming in from Battlebear. They really need to focus that down. There's only a couple of Bumblebees in that Air Force, so as long as they do focus that vehicle factory down, they can get the kill. It's on 5%. That's a couple of shots from a tank at best. And down it goes. Really good shot there. And now we've actually got, we see lots of different swarms of units coming in from Battlebear, doing a little bit of a surround on CptConundrum, who has taken a bit of damage there, defending his base, down to 84% of his health. Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, there's constant expansion from CptConundrum is keeping him much further ahead in the economy game there. 120 metal to 78. This force here is getting caught out a little bit with very little to no anti-air support. though a couple of interceptors are going to be scrambled in to move to go and protect with that one. Battlebear's base here hasn't really been touched for quite a while, and CptConundrum forced to go on the defensive here, as Battlebear's doing a good bit of raiding on the other side of the planet there. Looks as though the Fabricator's running for his life. Unfortunately, he does get chased down by the docks, so no more expansions today. And the Bumblebees there could be doing a bit better in terms of the raiding, the defense of that raiding. But CptConundrum's tactics here need to perhaps switch up a little bit, because he's running out of his expansions just a little bit, as they are somewhat undefended. Although, having said that, now so is Battlebear's base, and this is the window that CptConundrum really needs to use. Lots of units coming in, going to take down that radar that we've been wanting so desperately to go down for the longest time in this game, and the little bit of resource raiding as well will be incredibly useful to CptConundrum, as he's going to push Battlebear further and further into a metal deficit. Though Battlebear does have somewhat of a superior energy economy there. Just going to follow those around, but CptConundrum's assault did get repulsed. On the other side of the base, though, Battlebear's assault is still going on. Lots of P-gens there for the taking. A couple of metal extractors go down, and all of the expansion is gone as well. That was an incredibly effective assault from Battlebear, effectively leveling the playing field in terms of the metal and the energy. However, still in favour of CptConundrum. Though if we go back into the army tab there, we do see Captain does have much more in terms of the mobile units. That's probably all of these interceptors, which aren't particularly useful. But on the ground, he's probably got about the same as well, and the factory count is equal, as is the fab count. Particularly, you don't want particularly too many fabricators excuse me, in the current meta, because they just eat up so many resources, and your commander is your most efficient builder. You never want him to not be building. Let's have a look at what this chap's going off to up there, perhaps just moving in a little bit. Needs to get his expansions back on the go so we can keep building, keep using all of his factories. And also his energy as well, which he is floating at this point. He doesn't necessarily want to be floating that too very much. You want to be using as much of your resources as you can at any given point. And it seems as though CptConundrum is just about ready to make another assault, as a few shots are exchanged across no man's land there. CptConundrum seeing his window, and he's probably going to take it here and move into the west there. I wouldn't want him to engage directly with the commander, though he does appear to be retreating, that is Battlebear. And CptConundrum as well, he probably could have taken a little bit more damage. But again, why just exchange unit for unit when you can exchange unit for something more of a gain there? Like here, for example, good few free kills from Captain with nothing traded whatsoever. A few stray docks just happened to walk into the range of the barrel of those ants. A good bit of air support over here now, as the expansions from Battlebear are getting raided, pushing his metal further and further into a deficit. CptConundrum, though, needs a few more bumblebees and a few boombots as well. Now, this is an interesting transition, which I didn't notice, but boombots are ripe for the sniping, and Battlebear's commander is something of an exposed condition right now. He's not in the middle of his base, where he's in the middle of all the factories or his units that are being produced. He's on the edge of his base, where his units are sort of congregating in a one direction. Excuse me. And there aren't any point defense either. And we do see the boombots on the other side there beginning to congregate. Let's hop down into the dynamic camera here, as I fear we're about to see the comm snipe with all those boombots, as the commander is lured out as well by CptConundrum there. Uber cannon does go off, a few shots go off as well, dropping him down to below 85% there, below 80, and here come the boombots now, ready for the kill. And there they go. Really well played from CptConundrum, goading Battlebear's commander out of the safety of his base to his destruction and to oblivion. GG's. Well played, CptConundrum and Battlebear. Don't forget, folks, if you did enjoy this cast, don't forget to drop any likes or feedback, and share your friends as well, because I've got a lot of PA content on the way. And I've also got a few guides as well. My picture-in-picture guide is planned. Well, as soon as I get my current essay out of the way, I'm going to go full steam on my picture-in-picture guide, so do make sure to stick around for that. It's going to be pretty good, and I'm also intending to cover some mods as well. There is the Energy Wars mod that Eladea on the forums and well-known player as well, and King of the Planet has produced that mod, which changes things drastically. It is an unrecognizable game in terms of the way you play it and how you build your units and how you manage your economy as well. We'll get onto that when I do the video on it. And there's also an orbital sort of beef mod. I'm going to say beef because an old teacher of mine used to say, you can beef stuff up, add substance to it. Basically, this mod adds tons of orbital units. I haven't looked too far into it yet, but the screenshots do look very promising. I'd like to get a video in on that as well. So stick around, folks, for more PA on the way very, very soon indeed. And as always, have a nice day. Of course, this is going to have to be an all-or-nothing strategy for Super. That is, if he doesn't take down the nuke launcher from Mott. If he does, then he has even more time to kill, but snipers moving in from the southern peninsula as well. Gosh, those catapults are just so devastating to those snipers. He needs to get up some more, and there's the nuke going in now. Where's that going to hit? I think that's just going to hit the mainstay of the base there. Will it take down the nuke launcher? That is the question, because I'm not sure Super has the ability to make another nuke in a time. Oh wow, that is going to hit right about here, I suspect. It's going to take down a lot of the power in the production as well. Will take down Super saying nuke, and bang, it does hit. It doesn't take down the nuke launcher. That is crucial. That is oh so very crucial. It did take down so much production though, and it's just stalled Mott's power so hard. It's taken